Welcome everyone to part 2 of Willie's electronic handheld collection. This time, we're going to look at the loose games that I have. Now, the reason why I split this up into 2 videos is because I have way too many electronic games laying around here. And I don't want to have a video that's going to be like over an hour long on my channel. I'm trying to limit it to at most 30 minutes, if all possible. Shorter, the better. Anyway, before I get started with this video, I've got a couple games I want to talk about that I no longer have in my collection. I did have. The first one was Dracula. It's a neat little VFD game. It was put out by a company, spelled E-P-O-C-H. I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't want the pronunciation police to come after me again. But anyway, it's a cool VFD game, and the reason why I don't have it in my collection anymore is because I have a buddy that really wanted it, so I traded it off to him for some other stuff. Eventually, I'll pick one up again and put it back in my collection. This was a loose one. I may try to find a box one to add to my box game collection because I really like that game quite a bit. It's got some unique gameplay. I did do a video on it, so if you want to watch it, go search the channel. I may put a link to the video down in the show notes if you want to watch the Dracula game. A lot of these electronic games I do have videos on already. A few I don't. So if you're interested in them, just do a search on the channel for them. If I can recall that I made a video, I'll mention it, but otherwise, I may not have a video yet. But anyway, the other game I want to talk about that I used to have was Safari. That was done by Bambino. Hope I pronounced that right. I guess I'll find out if the pronunciation police start attacking me again. But anyway, a very unique VFD game where you capture animals on the screen in cages. Pretty benign. It's not a violent game. You're just capturing animals in cages and stuff. It's kind of a fun game, and I can't remember if I gave it or sold it to my buddy Rick. I don't remember, but he got a hold of it because he really wanted it. Another one that I had in my collection that I probably shouldn't have got rid of. I probably should have kept it because it's a very obscure electronic game, a tabletop game. But my buddy Gary, who does Korgs, he runs the Korgs in Ohio, the show, he really wanted it. So, being me, I worked something out with him and gave it over to him, and that was, Bandai's Blockout, which is a VFD breakout game. I have never seen a VFD breakout game before until I saw that one. So now it's in Gary's collection, so maybe next time Korgs is around, maybe we'll have it at the show so you can actually see it and everything. It's actually a cool little handheld. Kind of hated getting rid of it, but hey, he really wanted it, so try and keep Gary happy. He's such a nice guy anyway. So, now let's get into the electronic games. You can see some piled up behind me, and there's a pile over here. Got quite a few of them. So let's get right to it. First, we're going to start with these Coleco handheld games. I think they were put out in the, around mid-2000s or so. These are like cell phone games. This was the one labeled Target. It's a 10-in-1 game with a nice little LCD screen. They're basically like cell phone games. They do have an AV out. Haven't done a video on these yet, but I got most of them. So there's the Target one there. It's kind of cool. And then here's the one that's labeled Sports. Sports. And the other one labeled Racing. So eventually I'll get around doing a video on these crazy things. I don't know if I want to do a separate video for each or just do them all at once and talk about them and show all the games and stuff and play some of the games on every one of them in one video. I have to think about that. What would you guys like? Individual videos on each one of those or one video that covers all 3 at once? Let me know down below. Now let's get into some more neater stuff here. Here's a real fun LCD game from Mattel Electronics. Dungeons and Dragons, the LCD game. I played the living daylights out of this in my homeroom class when I was in high school. Love this game. It's actually a pretty fun LCD game. Of course, we have a Game & Watch Super Color by Nintendo, Spitball Sparky. It's got the instructions too. I've done a video on this already. This is a really fun LCD game. It's one of the ones I really enjoyed back then. Next to the one called Fire, where you got the guys that you are bouncing on these trampolines to the back of the ambulance. Haven't got one of those yet. Been looking for one. I'll find one eventually. Of course, I have a neat little digital pachinko game. I think I've done a video on this one as well. Of course, here's my original Mattel Electronics Space Alert. Notice it don't say Battlestar Galactica Space Alert. It says Mattel Electronics Space Alert. This came out before the Battlestar Galactica branded one, which I have complete in the box now. But this is my original I got for Christmas one year. Love this game a lot. Of course, I have a loose hockey game from Mattel. Paid like 20 bucks for it. I think I got this from Big Fun in Columbus, Ohio. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this from. They had a whole bunch of loose handheld electronic games there a couple years ago when I was visiting, and I bought quite a few of them. My original Auto Race. Oh yeah, this is a really fun game. I like to get the skiing version of this, where basically it's upside down and you're going this way down the screen. But skiing is pretty hard to find, almost as hard to find as my missile attack game that I have. Continuing on with the Mattel electronic handhelds, here's my loose baseball. Pretty good game, not too bad. And of course, my original Football 2. Absolutely love Football 2 from Mattel. Played this a lot on the bus going back to and from school growing up back in the late 70s. Great game. And of course I have a loose Soccer 1. I've got this complete in the box as well. What I might do is I might sell off some of the loose ones I have, since I've got some complete in box ones back there. So keep an eye out on the Arcade USA Marketplace here on Facebook, because that's where I'll list these if I decide to go ahead and sell them and everything. The loose ones, that is, not the complete box ones. My duplicate loose ones. Oh, here's something really cool. This was, I don't know when this was from. Who made this? Tiger. This is a Tiger game. One of the few Tiger games I have that I actually enjoy. It is Kaboom. A Kaboom keychain. So you play Kaboom on a little LCD screen. And actually it plays really well. I've got a sealed one of these. This is the loose one I picked up so I can actually play it. And I think I've done a video on this as well. Love that little Kaboom. It's pretty cool. Now here's something really neat from Coleco. It's the Talking Teacher. Awesome. And basically it has word games and things like that, and it talks to you like Speak and Spell. It also takes these little cartridges that you can pick up. Get a little closer view there. These little cartridges that you can pick up for it. This one is the expansion module number 2. I don't know what's on this one, but you plug the little cartridge in, a little connector there, and Speak and Spell does other things. So I think that's kind of cool for an educational toy. It's actually kind of neat. Okay, let's move it on here. Here's something from, I think, the 2000s as well. No, it's from the late 90s, from Hasbro. It's the, what is that? Pro Drag Racing. Now, you remember the box Redline Racing that I have? This is pretty much the same game. It just has an LCD screen and some added features. It's actually pretty good. Not as good as my original Redline. I love that Redline Racer. But this is a nice little substitute for that game. Now here's some really neat stuff. These are some really old electronic games. Made by Funtronics, which is Mattel. We have Red Light, Green Light. They also released this in a Hot Wheels themed one called Drag Race. I'd like to have that one instead of this one. But this is okay. I haven't done a video on this one yet, but I will in the near future. I'll try to get the wife to play that game. Of course, I have Jax. I love the chrome stickers. That's pretty cool. And then we have Tag, which is kind of neat. Some interesting LED games that they put out under the Funtronics brand. Next up, we have Electronic Touchdown from Coleco. This is the Sears version. I have the Coleco one here somewhere, but I can't find it. So I got the Sears version to show. Pretty cool. It's actually a really good football game. It's not bad. Now here's something from Coleco as well. This is the Total Control 4 sports gaming system. This is a really cool tabletop electronic game. What's neat about it, it has interchangeable cartridges. I can pull this cartridge out. Ooh, maybe. Get out of there. There we go. Whew. And I can plug in a different cartridge. Let's say, for example, I want to play, let's see what this one is. Here's basketball. So I can plug the basketball cartridge in here. Like so, maybe. There we go, if it cooperates. It's not cooperating. Making a liar out of me, you son of a blankety. What is that thing, warped? There we go. So now it becomes basketball. Pretty cool. I do have the box for both of these, but I don't have any of the pack materials, which is why I didn't show it complete in the box. No one, I don't think, oh, I do have the instruction book up there. I forgot about that, but I don't have the packing stuff for these. So I've got the box for this, the unit itself, and I've got the box for the expansion modules. Besides basketball and what's this one, and football, it also came with, of course, hockey. Got a hockey cartridge for it. And this one should be soccer. Yep. And we have soccer, the soccer cartridge. Pretty cool. It actually plays really nice, especially with 2 players. I've not made a video on this one yet. I will here in the near future. I'll probably get the wife to play against me. I think you can play against the computer too. I have to research. I haven't really researched that much. But it's awfully cool. It's really cool. I like that one a lot. Here's another neat one. This is my original Intex Galaxian 2. I played this a lot. This game has been all over the place. When my wife and I started dating, she got a hold of it and really enjoyed it. So she took it to her house and lived there for like 4 or 5 years. And then finally, when we got married, it came back to my house. But yeah, she played the living daylights out of this. She really liked that game. Of course, you've seen this already. I've done a video on this one. This is the Tandy Cosmic 3000 Fire Away. Tandy made some really cool electronic games, and this is one of the ones I really like. It's a really fun, like Space Invader type, Galaxian type game. And of course, here's something from Mattel Electronics. It's an LCD game, Computer Chess. Now, I like chess per se. I don't go actively out to play it. I mainly picked this up from my buddy Rick, who likes chess games, especially computer chess games and stuff. So once I make a video on this, I'll probably pass it on to him for his chess collection. So, oh, spoiler, Rick, you may be getting a surprise in the mail sometime in the future. Surprise! Oh, let's see, what else? Oh, another Intex game. This one is Turtles. Help Mama Turtle save her baby turtles. It's a maze game based on an arcade game. This is actually a lot of fun. It's a really fun VFD game, especially when you play 2 players. Pretty cool game. And the pile is growing on the floor. And then I got one here. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it's called Pyramid. But I remember seeing this on Star Trek The Next Generation quite a bit. It's a sound and light type of memory game. And the playfield's in here. It's a VFD game. It's very colorful. It's actually a really cool looking game. I need to do a video on this sometime in the future, because I've always wanted one of these. I never had one when they first came out. I picked this up a few months ago, and just been lazy to learn how to play it to make a video. Eventually, I will get a video made. Next up, I've done a video on this as well. This is Bandai Electronics Super Galaxy Invader. Fun Space Invaders game. I love how they got the moon surface right there. That is pretty cool. And next up is a classic Tomy game called Cosmic Combat. My buddy got one of these for Christmas years ago, and we played it a lot. It's a really good Space Invaders type game. It's pretty fun. I've made a video on it as well. Next up is a handheld electronic pyramid type game. I think it's called Illuminations. And it's a puzzle game, and basically what you got to do is get all the LED colors to be the same. And you do it by tilting the pyramid around, but it has some different skill levels where you tilt the pyramid, it may change the color over here instead of the color over there, or it may change two colors at once. There's like different skill levels to rotate this thing around to find the right combination to get them all to be one color. I don't think I've done a video on this yet. I need to, because I spent a lot of time with this. When did this come out anyway? This came out in the late 80s. Yeah, Illuminations right there. Right there in the battery compartment. Illuminations. Not the Luminari. Illuminations. Oh, here's a fun Coleco game. Head-to-head boxing. Now, my wife and I did a video playing this game against each other. It was a riot. We still play this every once in a while. It's actually kind of a fun boxing game to play. They did a pretty good job with this one. I held it upside down as well. There we go. There, Coleco's at the top, so there. Now I'll get the, you held it upside down, police, after me in my comments now. Oh, well. Oh, no biggie. Oh, here's another cool Intex game. Another two-player game, if you want to be. Pac-Man. Pretty awesome. Really fun when you play two-player. It's got a really nice-looking Pac-Man maze as well. And I think I've done a video on that one as well, playing against the wife. Here we have a Radio Shack game called Sea Battle. It's an LCD game. It's basically Battleship. But what's cool about it, besides having sound, it also has this little light that'll light up here like the electronic Battleship from Milton Bradley did. So that's kind of cool. I think I picked this up at my buddy's shop, Retro Artifacts in Maryville, Tennessee. But I can't remember if I did or not. It's been a while, and Willie's mind is not too good anymore. Here's another great one from Bambino called Space Laser Fight. It's like a gunfight game, but with lasers. It's pretty cool. Fun two-player game. Of course, you got to have the classic Bandai Electronics, what's it say? Gun Professional. Basically, it's Gunfight, the arcade game, in a tabletop format. So you got the little cactus and everything. There's your little guys on each side of the screen. You shoot at each other. You know, it's a pretty fun game. I had a chance to get that complete in the box, and I missed out on the auction. I was so bummed out. Here's another Tandy, Cosmic Faraway. This is Cosmic Faraway 1000, the original one. There's a 2000, which I haven't got a hold of yet. Space Invaders type game. It's pretty fun. It's not too bad. Kind of enjoy that one. I'm getting a pile on the floor. Here's another great Coleco game called Bowlatronic. Electronic Bowling. I love this game. I love it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Matter of fact, I had this on display at Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas in 2014. You can see my little label right there. So this was out for people to play while I was running the console game room. So this one's been around the block as well. Okay. Next up, another Bandai game. This one's Missile Invader. Kind of like Galaxy Invader, but instead of this time you got one single guy you're battling. You shoot back and forth. I think I've done a video on this one as well. I love the case design on this. And moving right along, we have another Bandai Electronics game, Crazy Climber. This one I have batteries in, so you can actually see it work. See? Yay! Climb, you little fool, climb! Crazy Climber is a really fun arcade game. I plan on doing a video on this sometime in the near future. I think I picked this. Where did I pick this up? I don't remember where I picked that up. I need to write down where I picked these things up at. I can remember. Here's a personal favorite in my collection. It's Parker Brothers Q*bert. This is a great VFD Q*bert game. As a matter of fact, I did a restoration video on this, where I put new decals on, got it all cleaned up the internals. This thing works like it was brand new. It looks like it's brand new too, with all these new decals and everything I installed on it. So I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, I probably should have kept it original, but it looked really nasty. So I wanted something to look nice, something that I would, play in my collection. That's actually a good version of Q*bert as well. Very colorful. Now here's a very unique Mattel game. It's called Gravity. I know I did a video on this one. It has, I think, 3 different games in here, all based on gravity kind of stuff going on. I like how it says property of who. I like when I find labels on this kind of stuff. I've done a video on this. It's actually kind of a cool game to play. Yeah, moving right along. Da, 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 da. Now here's a really great Tandy game. Caveman. Basically, you're a little caveman dude with a little stone hatchet or hammer trying to steal eggs from this big dinosaur on the other side of the screen. You gotta avoid pterodactyls and lava and stuff like that. You gotta steal a bunch of eggs. This game is so much fun. This is one I highly recommend to have in your collection of electronic games. You can actually play it online as well. I think I've demonstrated a couple places where you can play this in a browser. Such a fun game. I love it. Next up we have another Radio Shack game called Astro Command. It's kind of like Star Wars. You're going down this trench and you're shooting these like TIE fighter looking things coming down at you. It's got some great sound effects, some really great visuals, and I'm pretty sure I did a video on this as well. You can't really see it, but you look down inside the screen there, you can see like a simulated like Death Star landscape. You can't really see it that well, but when it's turned on and you're playing, you can see it. It looks really, really cool. Uh-oh, we got a room on the floor over here. Next up is another personal favorite of mine from Tomy Tronic Tron. This has 3 games in it. You got Light Cycles, you have the Ring Battle, and you have Destroy the MCP, where you throw your little identity disc at the little junction and cut them off. Man. This is a really fun game. If you're into Tron and collecting Tron items, take a look at this. This will become kind of cool to put in a Tron collection or an electronic game collection. This is one of my favorite handheld electronic games. This is not my original. My original I lost years ago, but this is one I picked up at a game store somewhere. What I like about it is you can look through it, you can see like simulated circuits like the Tron world, which is really cool. It's in rough shape, it's got a bunch of dings and scratches on it and stuff like that, but overall it's in really good shape and it works just fine. So pretty cool, and you can play it virtually as well. There's some emulators online. I think archive.org has that included in their little handheld collection that you can play. Next up is another fun game that's another personal favorite of mine. It's got a little bit of dust on the screen. I'll have the dust police come after me next. It's Scramble. Really good version of the arcade game on a little home electronic console. It's a VFD game. You only have one fire button that does both missiles and bombs at the same time. It's got 5 levels. It's pretty challenging and it's a lot of fun. Oh, now we're coming to the big daddy here. This thing is huge. Coleco's Zaxxon. This friggin' thing is big. Runs on D batteries. It's got a really cool 3D effect inside by using mirrors. Got the little joystick like the Zaxxon cab does. Coleco really outdid themselves with this console. My buddy RK on the Toy Tube has his original still in the box, and it looks brand new. It's pretty awesome. This is one I'm really happy to have in my electronic game collection. I'll put this back over there. Now we're getting to the fun ones here. Coleco's Frogger, little mini arcade game. I remember these came out in the 80s. I love these things. They were so cool. Here's one of my personal favorites of that line. Galaxian. Pretty awesome. And of course we have the bane of my father's existence. The Coleco Pac-Man that drove him absolutely insane when I got this for Christmas. That awesome. And of course we have the Donkey Kong one. Favorite of the Gremlins in the Gremlins movie. I think Gizmo was playing this, I think, if I remember right. I think he played it. And of course, this is the Pac-Man one to get. The Miss Pac-Man tabletop. This is actually really, really good. It's a real fun Pac-Man game to play, and they did a good job translating the Miss Pac-Man game into electronic VFD format. Now here's some more interesting LCD games that came out from Tomy. These are Tomytronic as well. And this first one here is called Planet Xeon. Basically, it's a 3D game. You look through this viewfinder here. Light goes in through the top. Got your controls up here, and you play the game in a 3D environment. It's actually pretty good. What's neat about this is on the back of it, it has a little sticker. The Back of New York. MasterCard. I don't know if this was like a bank promotional thing or what. Never could figure out why that sticker was on there. But a really fun virtual reality type game. Next up we have, what's this one called? Sky Attack. This one I really like. This kind of reminds me of Tron a little bit. You got these things in the air that look like the recognizers. You got your tank at the bottom of the screen, and you're shooting at them at the top. Really cool game. This one has been through a lot of heck. You see it's kind of melted here. I don't know if that was left on a car windshield or a car dash or something like that, and it got warped by heat or what. But it still plays just fine besides the physical warping of the case. Because of that warping, I got this really cheap. And the next up is the Tomytronic 3D Thundering Turbo. This is a really awesome racing game. It's like Mattel's Auto Race, but it's in 3D, and you got like little car icons and things like that. If you like that kind of game, this is one really that's a lot of fun. It would be cool to add to your collection as well. Yeah, I'm rambling. I'm just a rambling man, a rambling man. Hey, did I run out? I think I ran out. Yep, I did. Yay! Whew! Whoops! Wait a minute, almost forgot one. Invader from Space. Who made this? Oh, it's by that company that begins with another E again, EPOCH. This is another Space Invaders game. It's actually kind of cool. I did a video on this one also. I was putting the other games away after making this video, and I found this up on the shelf behind a box. Oops. Anyway, Invaders from Space. Another cool game in my collection. Wow, 30 minutes. Right when I want to cut it off. Awesome. Anyway, that's the loose game collection. I'm always picking up loose games here and there, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to show all my electronic games in this two-part video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some ideas of games you may want to collect. Like I said, a lot of these I've made videos on, so you can find them on the channel. Just look by name and you should be able to find them. The ones that I had mentioned at the very beginning that I no longer have, I'll put those links down in the show notes so you can go watch those right away if you're interested in seeing those actually being used. So anyway, until next time everyone, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.